What you doing? Welcome back, everybody. It's Bull482. We're working on the junkyard truck. Sad to report, I have done a lot of off-camera stuff. Just got on a roll. A lot of the stuff. Oh, don't start with me. Don't you be talking. You wanna go inside? I have to feed you separately. Anyways. You go inside? Come on. Anyways, been doing some off-camera stuff. Had the diesel heater going. Actually, trying on kerosene and waste oil. I had a little bit too much waste oil in it and it wouldn't fire, so I put some kerosene in it and boom, just took off. Anyways, I had to pull the transmission back out because if you remember from the last episode, this slave cylinder that I had bought. How do you do this? This one had a different end. My line wouldn't click into here, and what I found is that through different models and different years, they changed this fitting up for whatever reason. Anyways, this is not the box that one came in, but this is the part number that I use, and this is for the 89 to 92 5-speed ZF5 or M5OD. So finally got that in there. That was an ordeal because both screw holes that are used to mount the slave cylinder and stripped out. So I had to drill them out, tap them, and put bigger bolts in, and that's kind of a nightmare. And they were wanting to strip out again when I put the stuff in. So I'm hoping that slave doesn't come undone and, you know, just do one of these and blow up on us. So I'm a little worried about that. I may get online and order a different front cover for that transmission because we'll probably have to pull it out eventually anyways. I put the transfer case in. Yeah, that actually went in pretty easy. I just picked it up, put it on my chest, and plopped her in. I got all the bolts in, tightened in. We got our gasket in there. One of the things with the swap, you will need the four-wheel drive transmission mount, so I have that there. I'll try and get you a part number. And then my friend Scott had this front drive line laying around, and we did a little trade. I've actually got a couple of parts I need to go bring them, but yeah, I got it in four-wheel drive right now, so I can actually I could technically drive this thing. I haven't bled the clutch out yet, so if I bled the clutch out right now, I could actually use its own power to move this in and out of the garage. I still have to burn a hole in the frame for the crossmember right there. I was able to reuse this factory bolt hole here, and then the transmission mount, I've got it where it's pretty much kind of in the middle there. And you may do this a little bit differently than I'm doing it, but this is just how we're doing it. I just let this thing kind of sit where it wants to. And then this, on the passenger side, it likes to sit back about a ½ inch, give or take. So I'm not really worried about alignment stuff on that side. I just want it to sit naturally, and then we'll burn a hole and just bolt everything down. We probably won't be able to use that upper bracket that used to be there. This one I think we'll be able to use. I'm not sure. I'll probably leave it out. I left it out on my other four-wheel drive. They do add some support to the frame. They keep the top from twisting a little bit, but I think we'll be okay in this truck. And I'll probably call it a day for right now. I think tomorrow we'll pick up on wiring. I need to shorten this up a little bit, permanently solder that. That's our neutral safety switch right here, or well, was. We'll shorten that way up here, and then these two wires here, we'll wire a pigtail, which I have, for that switch up there with the red body on it. Yeah, that's a reverse light switch, so we'll need to hook that up. And then I gotta burn a hole for the shifter so we can put the four-wheel drive shifter stuff in. In another video, we swapped out this tail housing for the transfer case and made it so that we could put a Speedo cable in there. And I got one, and I want to actually plug it in there and see if it's the right length. The gear that's in that transfer case, I matched it up with what was on the AOD that we took out, and it seemed like it was pretty damn close. So I think if we put this in there, our speedometer should be pretty close. I'm gonna go get a clip, we'll pop this off, get this off of here, and then we'll get our new Speedo cable and see if it's long enough. Okay, sorry for the noise, but I had to transfer the O-ring over from the old unit. Transfer the gear. I did clean this up with some lube just to wash it out. And we'll need to make a lockdown for it. So that's kind of in there. And then we'll go walk this up to the cab, and hopefully this is long enough. I bought it for an 89 Bronco with no cruise control. Okay, so I fed it up straight through the same spot as the old Speedo cable. So later what we can do is we'll take our instrument cluster back out. We'll pull this grommet and the cable out, and we can also get rid of this connector. We no longer have cruise control anymore, so yeah, we'll unplug that, get rid of this, and then we got our new cable. This is just long enough, yeah. So, yeah, what's the part number on that one, Jimmy? Well, we'll come over here to the floor. So this was 25 bucks. I ordered one. I was gonna order two, but I want to make sure it worked. Oh, Chrysler Ford, come on. Yep, it's a 90-inch cable. I'm gonna order another one because we're gonna be doing the same thing to my other truck, putting the new cable in so I can have a speedometer. So yeah, that's cool. The only thing I need to do for the other end of the transfer case is make a hole down, and I think what I'm gonna do is we'll chop the cable here. Now that we know we have one that works, we'll chop the factory cable. We'll take this bracket, we'll just slot it, take her off, and then put it on the transfer case, and then I'll hold this down. So yeah, pretty exciting. So that's cool. I'll be able to keep my factory gauges in this. I really didn't want to spend any more money on gauges and hack up what's in here. I want to make it just kind of keep some of it factory, you know. So all right, I don't know where I left off when I started this video, but I'm back working on the truck again. Right now I'm just finishing up the Crossmember mounting. I've got one factory bolt hole I'm able to reuse, but I have one on the passenger side I have to re-drill just because of how the Crossmember sits. It's pushed back about a ½ inch on this one side. On my other truck I moved the whole thing a ½ inch back, but looking at this one now it looks like it just needs to sit back a little bit on one side and not both. So I'm just going to burn a new hole in the frame, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. The air generator running in the background, which is around the corner over here. I am using my brand new generator I bought just to run my diesel heater. It's cheaper to run the generator than to use electricity from this place. So I've got a little pilot here because this is at kind of an angle. But what we're going to do, we'll get our drill right up in there, and then we're going to take the floor jack here and oh, come on. While we're drilling, we're going to slowly ease on the jack. And what that's going to do for us is it's going to keep tool pressure on the bit and the frame here. And since we'll have that tool pressure, it will help cut quicker and easier. And plus, you know, we're at an angle here, so it's a lot easier to do it this way than you know, trying to manhandle it up there. Another way to do this is to get a mag drill It's on my list of things to get. I think I've run into enough times already where it could have paid itself off if I had one. So future tool investment. Dad, if you're watching, birthday's coming up. Anyways, so yeah, what we'll do is I kind of marked out where I need it. I've kind of guesstimated where the hole for this part of the Crossmember is landing, and it feels like it's right about here. The end of it's right here, so I think we're right on the money. We might chew into the sides where the hole is for this, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about it. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab my gloves, and then I'll hold this, and as I'm holding this, I'm just going to ease with my foot over here on the jack handle. I'm going to ease on it, just ease on it. Okay, so we want to not be too limp-wristed. Just like that. See how easy that was? Upside down drill press. I've been kind of taking a break from YouTube just a little bit. Oh, what? Does this not fit now? Did I grab the wrong nuts? No. Okay, I'll revisit that one. I think I grabbed the wrong nuts. I'll have to get a deep 19. Oh, yeah. Oh, frick yeah, eh? Yep, she's locked in now. Just got some wiring to do. Okay, I'm not sure if I have to get new nuts for this mount. I'm gonna have to come back to that one. Oh yeah, see I got the transfer case in? You know it's funny how I put that in there? I didn't even use the tranny jack, I just lifted it up myself. Not too bad. Okay, so, well, we're pretty much mounted now. One of the other things that we're gonna do today, hold on a hot minute, where's my light? So, I have all my four-wheel drive shifter stuff. We're gonna go ahead and kind of loosely put it up in there and see where it lands, and then I'm gonna take a hammer and hammer where the shifter wants to stick through, and then we'll go on the inside and we'll just burn a little square hole around the center of where I tap, and then that'll kind of get us where we need to be for the four-wheel drive shifter. When I got the front drive shaft in, and I'm kind of picking, I'm kind of random right now. I'm picking what I want to do. Just, we also need to come in here. Probably, let's see. I'm laying on my back and I'm just like, ah. So we've got this wiring here. I think I talked about this where we take these two wires, jump them together, and we leave it like that. Or if you want to put a neutral safety switch in, you can do so, but I just completely bypass it on these. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this pigtail off, and then I'm gonna find a spot where I can get this insulation off, which is right here. In fact, we can actually, I'll leave that plug alone, but we can snip this pigtail off and just pull this insulation right off, and then we can shorten our wires as need be. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna save that for a little bit later in this video, so we'll come back to that. I really want to get the four-wheel drive shifter in. So apparently these are different between transmissions. These are too close together to fit my M5D and 1356. So we'll have to get another one of those. So here's what I'm doing. I'm putting this piece up in here, just lightly bolted it on, and then I'm using it as a scribe. And then we'll take a hammer and we'll just hammer in this area. In fact, we could probably use this indentation right here as our starting point. So I'll probably end up cutting, just cut from here. So right here, I made some hammer marks. And that's that other indentation right here. And our shifter is wanting to be right around here. So I'm thinking, I'm just gonna cut a little slot here first, put my boot over it, and then we'll just trim around it until we have enough room for the shifter to move around. May have to cut a little bit higher. In fact, yeah, we'll have to cut. Maybe we'll go we probably didn't need to cut that far, but we did anyways. So let's cut that real quick. Perfect. Actually, this is a good hole. And then I've got this. So that's low range. That's neutral. This rod looks like it was bent. So that's four high, neutral, low range. Normally I think I'm just gonna put a washer in there just to space the lever down there from the transmission so that it can be tightened down properly. I think I'm gonna leave it like that. This was definitely torched. Someone bent this, probably for better access. So we'll leave it for right now, but we got four high, neutral, that's your low range. As long as you just do that and don't go any further, like you end up going into neutral. But yeah, you're just four high, clicks right in. Okay, I don't know how well you guys can see, but I'm just gonna have to go with it here. Decided to bring you in for the shifter rod deal. I was gonna do the Heim joint setup, but I didn't. So it clicks in like that. Normally there's a bushing that goes around that rod, but guess what? I don't have it. Nobody sells one. At least not that I'm aware of. I'm gonna liberally coat this with some schmoo. Of course, my light, shines everywhere but what we're trying to look at here. Now, they say to adjust the rod until there's no free play. And then back out half a turn. I usually have mine adjusted where there's just a tiny bit of play. But, not a whole lot. It's not flopping around. I think that'll be fine. Split pin here. Cool. So yeah, I'm gonna go bleed the clutch out, and then I'll do a final adjustment on this, but that part's done. Good morning, tubes. Looks like the camera lens is a little fogged up again. I'm gonna have to clean this thing, or take it in the house and let it get warmed up. Imagine that. So it's the next day. Today we're going to, there it is. We're gonna go measure the drive shaft, or measure a drive shaft, and if we're lucky, we might be able to use part of the two-piece drive shaft on this. We'll see if it's long enough, and if it is, we might have some fun today. I was just gonna go on a little rant about my tape measure situation. I bought this because, well, I like it. It's new, it's kind of cool looking, it's a DeWalt, whatever. Every time I go to find it, the only one that ever comes up is this one here. Like, I can find that one all day long. This one disappears. We need to measure from the center of where the U-joint sits in this yoke, which I need to kind of fix the play that's there. probably give her a couple ooga doogas and call that a day. So we're gonna measure from there and measure to right here. So what I want, this is my yoke here. I actually want this to be, so this is where we bottom out. I want this to be about here. That'll give us plenty of in and out, but also be pretty much fully engaged on the splines there. So that's kind of where I want to be. You'll notice we are going to have to cut out this carrier bearing mount. No longer need that. Now looking at this, I don't think our other end of our drive shaft's going to be long enough. So that's going to be a long drive shaft. Not too terribly long, but still, I'm like, wow. Let's see. We don't have to be totally precise because we have some fudge room here. I think I want that yoke. I want at least a couple inches of room for it to go in if it has to. Definitely want some room in case you have an accident too. You don't want the drive shaft to totally screw everything up. Guess it doesn't matter when you're already in an accident, it's kind of screwed. But you know what I mean, we just want a little bit of room here so we're not bottoming out for whatever reason. I'm going to come down to here, just kind of roughly measure from the center of the, where the U-joint cap sits. And then my tape measure is going to land in the center of this yoke where the bearing cap's going. And we're at 52 inches. We need a 52-inch drive shaft. On that note, we're done here. Well, hey, you're interrupting me. Go on, move your bucket. This is pretty much the how you do the 5-speed swap on this truck. Pretty much fairly straightforward on this. So we went from a 2-wheel drive AOD to M5OD and a BorgWarner 1356. We also set up so that we got a Speedo cable output, so now we can retain our factory gauges doing this swap. Oh, Speedo cable, that was for a 89 Bronco with no cruise control. It's pretty much the same end on it as this. I do have to make a hole down. I don't have a hole down for it, so I'm gonna have to make one. I've got some parts to do so. Trans mount for a 4-wheel drive Ford. We have Bronco front axles. Actually, it being a Bronco doesn't really matter. It's the same as the F150s. So we got that. This truck had an 8.8 when I got it, but I ended up swapping it out for this 8.8 just because it had matching gears with that axle. So yeah, I got the front and rear axle for 175 bucks. I gotta put oil in this. So that's one thing I'm doing here. I'm putting oil in. I'm gonna try and make a hole down for that guy right there. Get that Speedo locked in. And then I gotta put oil in the transmission. That's got a couple of quarts in it, but I gotta put some more in there. And then I think I'll be done under here. I need to get the Speedo cable out of here. Yeah, I still have a lot of work to do inside the cab, which I'll probably do a kind of a separate video on installing the vinyl floor that I have. But I think pretty much covered the basics of doing this swap. I am going to include a parts list down below for everything. Said I was going to do that in the beginning of the series, but I ended up having some issues, and I ended up not talking about some of the parts, or I didn't include a parts list yet, so I'm going to include it in this video at the end, or in the description down below. Am I forgetting something? I don't know, probably. Oh, I still got to get nuts for that. And then I gotta put the nuts on those bolts there so they don't rattle around. Otherwise, yeah. Oh, I made my, I don't know if you can see it, but I made the wiring harness for the reverse light switch. Basically, the pigtail that used to go to the AOD, I just cut off what I didn't need, which was this neutral safety switch wiring. We just jumped those together and then just shortened up the harness and put the pigtail in for the reverse switch, and boom, done. So yeah, I think that's it. Alright guys, see y'all later.